Good evening, visitors, and welcome to the Australian War Memorial's Last Post ceremony. My name is Jared Pratt, and joining us today from the Royal Australian Air Force is Group Captain Peter Norford. This evening, we warmly welcome Air Commodore Peter McDermott, retired, Air Force Association National Vice President. The combined delegation representing the United States Coast Guard and the Australian Border Force, and the contingent of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Year 10, 11 and 12 students from across the country who are visiting the War Memorial today as part of the Work Experience with Government program. As always, we welcome the veterans who have served, those who are still serving, and the families that love and support them. The live stream of this ceremony is made possible by the Returned and Services Leagues of Australia and the RSL and Services Clubs Association. We welcome members who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony from across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection by visitors to the memorial. Ladies and gentlemen, if able, please stand and join in singing the National Anthem. If able, please be seated. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through until the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 103,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and in operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection.
Today we remember and pay tribute to Flying Officer Alain Morison Harvey. Alain Harvey was born in Adelaide on the 8th of July 1920, the son of Leslie and Eileen Harvey. He grew up in Adelaide, attended St Peter's College, where he was part of the Cadet Corps, and went on to work as a shipping clerk. Alain enrolled in the Royal Australian Air Force Reserve in January 1941. Called up in July, the 21-year-old enlisted in the Royal Australian Air Force on the 21st of July 1941. He began training as a pilot, attending elementary flying school at Parafield in Adelaide, and then service flying training school at Malala in South Australia. On the 2nd of April 1942, Harvey was awarded his flying badge, and a few months later he embarked at Sydney, bound for service overseas. As part of the Empire Air Training Scheme, he was one of almost 27,500 Royal Australian Air Force pilots, navigators, wireless operators, air gunners and flight engineers who throughout the course of the war joined Royal Air Force squadrons or Australian squadrons based in Britain. Arriving in the United Kingdom, Harvey continued training. In late October 42, he was promoted to flying officer and posted to number 26 Operational Training Unit, part of the greater RAF Bomber Command. This unit trained night bomber crews using Vickers Wellington twin-engine long-range medium bombers. In April 43, Flying Officer Harvey was posted to number 34 Squadron RAF, based at RAF Gravely. On the 24th of May 1943, Harvey was the pilot of a Wellington that took off from Gravely Station for a night raid on Dortmund, Germany. The raid involved 826 aircraft, one of the largest Bomber Command raids since the 1,000 aircraft bomber raids conducted in May and June of 1942. The group met with clear conditions and they marked the target accurately, leading to devastation being wreaked across large parts of the city. The Hirsch steelworks were put out of action and an estimated 624 people were killed. Suffering and loss occurred on both sides, with some 38 aircraft and dozens of aircrew lost during the raid. Harvey's aircraft crashed near Vanna Ekel. Air gunner Sergeant Ferry was trapped in the wreckage. He later reported, "I'm sorry, I do not know what happened to the captain. The aircraft crashed, I believe, with the crew on board. I was trapped in the aircraft and was just able to free myself and was then caught by the Germans." Whilst Sergeant Ferry survived the war as a prisoner of war, the other 6 members of his crew had been killed. Flying Officer Douglas Evans, Sergeant Stanley Groom, Sergeant Jack Johnson, Sergeant Robert Pritchard and Sergeant Charles Shields, and indeed Flying Officer Alan Harvey, who was 22 years old. Initially buried in Von Friedhof near Bochum, the crew members' remains were later reinterred at Reichswald Forest War Cemetery in Cleve, where they lie today. Alain Harvey's name is listed on the Roll of Honour to my left, amongst some 40,000 Australians who died while serving in the Second World War. His photograph is displayed today beside the Pool of Reflection. This is but one of many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Flying Officer Alain Morison Harvey, who gave his life for us, our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
If able, please stand for the reading of the Ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them.
Lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Pozières, or in the low scrub at Gallipoli, with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post ceremony. On behalf of the Director and staff, thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorials today and for your continued support of the Memorials Development Project. We wish you all a very pleasant evening. Thank you.